Hello and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today's going to be a little bit different than normal because this issue and the next issue I forgot to turn on my mic, so I'm doing a voiceover instead. Right now I believe I was talking about Eagle Moss and the fact that they'd gone out of business, and so it'd been 16 months since I'd gotten any parts. This is the first one. It's issue 107. I'm going to be putting it together, and I will not flap my gums the whole time because, like I usually do, because I don't remember exactly what I did. So let's go ahead and see what goes on here, and we'll go from there. I know I'm still flapping my gums. You can see that there's the fender. I should start showing the parts here in a second. There we go. Opening the book. Showing the parts there for 107. Talking about them a little bit. Okay, so here's where we actually get into the meat of it. I don't remember if I put the screws away before I did the video or not. I know they were sitting there, so let's see what I did. This video I actually cut a couple of days ago before I realized that I had screwed up the audio. I'm talking about the tail fin. There's the screws. I don't think I put them away. I think what I actually did was put them into a little tin, but that may be the next video that I did that. Okay, so I got the parts out, and you can see on the right hand side there's tins there. Put the spare screws away, one each package. And the first thing to do was put this housing on the back of this here. I do notice that there's a keyway on there. I should be showing that in a second. It only fits in there one way. That's where I noticed the keyway. You can see it there on the part itself, and then on the fin. Very small keyway. One thing I do have to say, I was kind of disappointed when I realized there is no light in that in that lens there. Okay, so I put the screw in there, tightening it down. I did have it turn a little bit, so I had to turn it back for the keyway. There, I've got it snug. The plastic, I will tell you, picks up a lot of fingerprints. So next part here is this trim piece. And the trim piece is actually kind of interesting because it's mostly straight on the side of the fin, but it doesn't fit very well because the slot that it goes into is straight. And there I'm sitting there trying to figure out which way it goes on because it's not matching up, the curve on it. I'm going to pause the video here in a second so I can go away and figure out what I'm doing wrong with this thing. Because every time I put it together, put it to the thing, it doesn't fit right. I think I paused the video, maybe I didn't. Okay, I've sorted it out, and the way I figured out which way it goes is because, and I mentioned it here, is that the end piece here, if I put it the other direction, would stick out beyond the end of the fin. Something that kind of surprised me when I was doing this is as I put the screws on, I believe I did the middle one first, didn't tighten it, just kind of tacked it in there. And when I put the back one in, the front actually, or maybe it was the front one I did next. Okay, yeah, front one. But when I put the second one in, the opposite end suddenly lined up really well. Now, I actually made a remark on that. It didn't line up until I started putting screws in. When I put the screws in, it lined up perfect. So I did, and I mentioned here, just putting each one in just a hair to hold it while I get the rest of them in, and then I go back and tighten them all down. I did mention that I almost felt like I should glue the piece on the back because it sticks well beyond the screw and could break off. I don't think there's going to be any problem with that. Looking at something on there, tightening it down, and there's the actual finished piece with the chrome trim on it. Next thing is this chrome piece here for the light housing. And it just fits on there, and then it's two, I believe it was EP screws from the backside. By the way, the first screw, there was only one of them. It was an AP screw. Everything else is EP screws on this one. And then this next area, it's one of these things of, it was very interesting to try and figure this out because it didn't want to play nice. It kept popping off the chrome on the top. So you got those pieces there, the fin is in there, and you can see the fingerprints. I'm gonna have to wipe that off. The plastic picks up fingerprints a whole lot better than or a whole lot more than the metal parts. So you can see I'm kind of confused by this piece. I'm going back and forth with it, and somebody just texted me. So I'm looking at it. And as I go through this, like I said, it's kind of confusing because the holes don't line up completely. You can see the pins. There's pins all the way along. I think there's like 7 pins. But they don't all line up like you would expect to where it's perfect. You actually have to push it pretty hard to get it in there. In the short term, it was a little bit of a pain in the butt. In the long term, it's going to hold it really well together. Once the other fin other half of the fin, and see there I'm looking at it, I'm talking about the fact that not all the pins are lining up. Still messing with it a little bit. I think I go away, or yeah, clamp it there just to make sure it would stay on while I mess with it on the other end. This doesn't end up really doing me any good. But when I mess with it enough, I finally get all the pins on. My suggestion is from the tip, the pointy end of the fin forward, the back of the fin to the front, because when I did it that way, I was able to finally pop everything in place and it stayed together really well. I'm putting away the spare screws. I believe I fit that last part, the back of the fin on. Put the clamp away, rattling of the drawer. Yeah, see, I test fit that. And while I'm test fitting that, the chrome on top of the fin does actually pop loose. I did eventually sand a little bit off the end of the fin because the sprue was still there. I believe at this point I'm done, so I'm going to say like, subscribe, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Come on over to Hobby Time Modelers on Facebook, YouTube, and Discord, see what we're doing, and I will talk to you on the next video, which will, again, be a voiceover. Have a great day. Let's let the video run out.